the Olympia will go ahead this year, and I can show that off and take that title, take that #1 spot. I want to be Mr. Olympia. I'd love to be able to say to my baby, eventually when he's old enough to know that his dad was Mr. Olympia. So we are 2 weeks into the 2020 Olympia prep. Things are going well so far. Just introduced cardio into my daily routine first thing in the morning. I've cleaned all my food up. I'm not specifically calorie counting just yet. I'm still in a surplus, but we're going to drop the hammer probably around the 16-week mark where we really start to calculate all our macros and have everything in place. But I just wanted to get into a routine this early on. I've got a very fast metabolism, so I know if I start too early, I'll turn to nothing very quick. So yeah, at the minute it's just getting into a routine and finding my form again, because I've not since last September. We're now going into May, so I've had a bit of time off and I need to get my body back to a regimented format. Yeah, so being in lockdown, I wouldn't say it's affected me mentally. I think probably, if anything, in a good way, which not a lot of people can say really from the pandemic. People have experienced some horrible, horrific things from this. But I think with me, being isolated and not being able to dilute my energy by going all over the place with travelling and putting things what I needed to address to the back of my mind, having to face them and having plenty of time to do that, I think it's been a really positive for me, because now I know what was wrong with me in past preps and in past years. I'm looking forward to this year and going forward and competing again. So I've still got injuries. I'm not going to say like I'm fighting fit, but these injuries aren't going to hold me back. I think I've hid behind them in past preps. I always had an excuse to fall back on, but I feel this year, being in the pandemic, has made me realise that if I want something bad enough and if I believe in myself enough, then we can do it. So I've got a little baby on the way. I need to provide for my wife and him, and I want to be Mr. Olympia. I'd love to be able to say to my baby, eventually when he's old enough to know that his dad was Mr. Olympia. So that in itself is a huge driving force for me this year. So hopefully the Olympia will go ahead this year, and I can show that off and take that title, take that #1 spot. You'll know, because if you follow me, you'll know that I've had slip disc in my lower back, which have always given me problems, and hip surgery last year, 2 hip surgeries. So those are the things what really do hinder me, especially around leg day. I think after leg day I struggle for a fair few days, but me and Johnny, who's my physio, we've put like a stretching program together, and it's like what I do first thing in the morning, and it's just trying to get me mobile, get my hip flexors loosened off so they're not too tight and I'm pulling on my lower back or in my legs. And before every session I'm just doing warm-ups, where I've never done that. Most bodybuilders say they do, but they don't. They go in and they try and lift heavy weights straight off the bat. So I'm having to be more sensible, factoring that into my routine. So when normally a session would take me an hour to an hour and a half, I'm factoring in 2 hours stretching and cool downs, things like that.
Like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, drifting apart. We're letting go, drifting apart. I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, drifting apart.
Yeah, so at present, obviously only 2 weeks into the prep, my cardio is very low intensity. It's 30 minutes in the morning taking my dog for a walk. I normally take my dog for a walk each day, but I normally eat before then. Now I've factored it in before my first meal, so it's a great way to get the metabolism fired up and get the hunger up, like I say, release endorphins first thing in the morning, ready for the day. So I feel like it just gives you better structure and sets you up for the day. I have noticed quite a big weight loss though, which is something we need to obviously keep an eye on. I'm about 5 pounds in total over the 2 weeks down. The first 3 pounds came off, or it all came off quite easy. But with the Olympia now being postponed to later in the year, I need to slow that down and reassess it now.
I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, rip it apart. We're letting go, rip it apart. I can hurt you like you hurt me too.
Yeah, so regarding meals, obviously with the weather being amazing in the UK at the minute, we've got the barbecue on every other day, and when I'm prepping, that's the kind of food I eat anyway. Again, I'm a bit loosely on what I'm eating, so it doesn't have to be fillet steak or organic chicken breast or that type of stuff at the minute. I'm having lean steak mince and beef burgers, sausages, all that kind of stuff. And then that's the thing I would change. They're the variants I would change as I go into full prep. But at present, I'm really enjoying it. Every meal is varied. It's not the same throughout the day. So I'll have an egg meal, I'll have an oat meal, I'll have a chicken meal, a turkey meal, or a fish meal, salmon meal, and a steak meal. So they're all, or a red meat meal. They're all very different. So I never really get bored of it, to be honest. Yeah. So the only problem with Amy being pregnant is she has got an obsession with baking now. So yeah, every time I go out and I come back, she's got something baking in the oven. So yesterday was jam cookies. I think the day before was Milky Bar cheesecake. It was chocolate blondie fudge brownies or something. I'm like, you're killing me. Absolutely killing. She's sabotaging before we even started, but she's blaming it on Peanut, the baby, saying it's him. So what can you say? I'm not going to tell her any different. She'll kill me.
The memory of you just come running back.
I'm a bit, would you say, boring or old school when it comes to supplementation, so I don't really ever change, other than the amount, the supplements I take. So I'll take a strong multivit, whichever sports multivit you can get. I will take a pre, which not pre-workout, but pre is in BCAA, EAA blend, essential amino acids, before and during training. And then I'll take a Blue Lab Whey, so it's a whey protein post-workout. I'll add carbs to those. So basically all my supplements are in and around training. So the only reason I do that is for the absorption rate. So like a solid meal over supplements would take a lot longer for the body to digest. So post-workout, you want to try and get the nutrients back into the body as quick as possible. So a whey isolate or a hydrolysate is probably the best form to get into the system as quick as possible. So I would add carbs such as multidextrin. You can put multidextrin, it's a cheaper carb, but it still does the job. But I use cyclic dextrin or Vitago, and I add that to my EAAs. So I have quite a lot of that at the minute. As we get into the prep, I'll show you more the quantities of each and how we're going to taper down over the weeks. At the minute, it's just quite loose and yeah, not too regimented. And then I'll take creatine anabolic as well. So that's something I will take all the way through my prep. I know other people are scared of having creatine when they're prepping. All it is you hold water with a monohydrate, but you can get rid of water out of the body within 3 or 4 days. So I don't worry too much about that, and I'll drop that out, say 4 weeks out.
And it's all from USM?
All USM. Shipping.
Try. Let's give me, and then try, and then try, and then try. Let's give me.
Yeah, so training, it was very difficult to start with, I must admit, because I think I just got into a routine of just lifting heavy weight and being in the same gym for so long, used to your home comforts, but coming into this lockdown we had to adapt very quickly because I've got a dumbbell rack here, I've got a dual pulley, a few abs benches and whatever, so I can get training done, but not to the way and the intensity we used to. No, not intensity, the weight we used to. We always lift quite heavy, so I've had to adapt my training into like more intensity, so less rest periods, more like time under tension, more like isolation work or high intensity work. So just things like that just to adapt to my training. So I'm still getting the most out of my workout, but just having to adapt, which I found really hard at first. I have been fortunate that my training partner owns the gym I've always trained at, and he basically, now I'm going into prep, has said I can have a key, because no one's in there, no one's going in there, it's completely locked up, and he has said once we probably hit the 16-week mark, maybe earlier, that I can go and use the facilities. So I've heard on the grapevine that the gyms aren't opening till October, which, yeah, that's going to be crazy really, but we'll just do what we can to make the best out of it. But it's not going to deter anything from our plans. I'll still be hitting it at full force and no excuses. So there you have it guys, that's my second check-in review for the 2020 Olympia. As you've probably seen on social media over the last few days, we are waiting for confirmation that the Olympia is still going ahead this year, but it's being postponed until I think December time. So what that means for me is obviously I've got to slow the process down, and we don't want to be getting too lean too soon, because obviously we've got another 2 months on prep. That being said though, I am still in prep because I function better when I've got that routine and that regimented food plan. So we're still going to stay on track. As it stands, I've dropped 2 pounds from last week, so we're at 214 pounds first thing in the morning. I still don't know my body fat yet because we've not managed to get out of lockdown and go and see Dan, who does my caliber readings. I can do them myself, but I've always used Dan on every prep I've ever used, so for a true indication I'd rather use him before I tell you guys. But yes, I will check in with you a week today. So like I say guys, thank you for watching this video. I'm going to be as transparent as I can all the way through this prep. Previous ones I've only showed you snippets because I've never really shown my early stages of my prep as in detail, because I don't really want to show you me all chunky or whatever. So I'm going to be transparent, like I say, you're going to see all of it all the way through. Hope everyone's staying safe at home, and I hope you take something from this as I get closer to the show. So thank you for watching, I really appreciate it. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I really appreciate it, and comment below on anything in this video you didn't like or you do like, and anything you want to see going forward.